Hi, welcome to another Windsor Cake Academy tutorial. Today I'm going to show you the microwave method of tempering chocolate, which is the easiest way for you to do it at home and have your chocolate have a nice snap to it and a nice shine. There are numerous other methods of doing it, but this is just the easiest for home use with minimal equipment. The first thing I'm going to do is fill my bowl with chocolate. Now this is, you've got to make sure it's couverture chocolate. That's the kind that needs tempering and that will give you the best finish. And I'm going to fill my bowl right to the top. It's important to fill your bowl to the top. It just ensures even melting. If you want to do less chocolate, use a smaller bowl. If you want to do more chocolate, use a bigger bowl, but just make sure that your bowl is nice and full. And so all I'm going to do is pop the whole thing in the microwave, and I'm going to start off on a minute. Okay, so our chocolate's had 1 minute in the microwave and it's already starting to melt at the edges. Now what I've got to do is just make sure I really get to the bottom and turn the whole lot over. It's got to be evenly mixed. It's difficult with a full bowl, but it's got to be done. Just making sure that we get right to the bottom. A few will fall out, you can just pop those back in. And once you're pretty sure it's had a really good mix, we'll just pop that back in for 30 seconds. Okay, so we've had 1.5 minutes total now, and it's really softening up nicely. Again, we're just making sure that every time we do this, we're really turning it over. It happens, don't worry about it. Just so long as we make sure that every bit of chocolate has been moved. We tend to get a few hot spots in the microwave, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So everything back in, and we're going to go back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. We've got to be really careful. What we're looking for is for our chocolate to be 2/3 melted and 1/3 still solid. We don't want to take it any further than that. Okay, so we've been in the microwave for about 2.5 minutes now, and that to me is looking pretty good. We're not going to want to take it any further than that in the microwave, it's just too risky. So what we're going to do to finish off the tempering is we're going to make sure that we're stirring all the time. We're trying to get everything from the top edges right down into the mix. And then I'm just going to bring in, I've just got a damp tea towel, and I'm going to use a heat gun, and this is just what you buy from B&Q for stripping wallpaper. You can use a hairdryer, you'd have to use a brand new hairdryer, but hairdryers tend to blow the chocolate, and I think that creates more air bubbles. So I just have a regular paint stripping heat gun, and I'm just going to turn that up to level 1 if I've switched it on. Turn that up to level 1, and I'm just going to use this to gently melt the chocolate the rest of the way. Making sure that we get the edges all the time, and making sure that we're stirring really thoroughly. Just switch off the gun for a minute and just make sure that I'm not overheating. It should never feel hot, but making sure that I'm dragging all of these edges and mixing. Close, I'm just going to go again very briefly with the heat gun. Okay, there's just a few last little lumps in there, and you can either sort of squash those against the side of the bowl or just keep stirring them in. They will melt by themselves. So now what we should have is a nice bowl full of tempered chocolate. And the way that we can check whether it's tempered or not, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a palette knife and dip that in, get rid of the excess, and I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to give that 5 minutes to set. If it's not set in 5 minutes, it's not tempered. Okay, so our timer's just gone off for the 5 minutes, and as you can see, all those last little bits have completely melted into our gorgeous dark chocolate. And what we have on our palette knife is set to touch. So it's perfect. Job done. All I would say is while you're working with your chocolate, do make sure that it stays at this sort of level of viscosity. If it starts to thicken and it's hardening around the edges, make sure you go back to your heat gun. What you don't want to do is to waste all your chocolate by letting it go out of temper. So back to your heat gun, get it all melted in, keep stirring, but never ever should it be hot to touch. So I hope you enjoyed watching today. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.